Are you a cop? Legally, I know my rights. You have to tell me if you're a cop. Hey, how you doing, guys? Sorry about that. Brainsmasher here, back again. I know I said I wasn't going to do another collection update before the end of the year, but maybe I'll sneak this in before the end of the year. Maybe this will be the first thing I upload in the new year, 2019, the great beyond. Can you believe it? Who fucking cares? Stuff I've got in, really cool stuff. Thanks for joining me once again. Man, like, this video is going to be really good. Thanks for watching. No, I'm just so humbled by you guys sticking with me and caring about my opinion. I don't do this. Look, I don't give a fuck what you people think of me or my channel or what I say about albums. I do this so you connect with albums, so you support the scene that gave me so much. That's why I do it. But when I get a gift from a fan or a subscriber or someone who becomes a friend, man, it's just like, I never thought that would be something that would happen as a result of me doing metal YouTubing. So I'm so appreciative of that. A little loud here. And not only that, but like, my buying music since I started doing metal YouTubing has just shot through the fucking roof. I mean, it's not just because I had this money sitting around and needed to blow it on a bunch of fucking records. A lot of things have fallen into line in my life that have been great to make that necessary. So, you know, half the time I feel like I'm just buying these albums so I have an excuse to talk about them on my channel, but I buy so much fucking music that I don't even have a chance to sit down and listen to most of it. So, I don't know, I said this probably last New Year's, I hope I get to slow down buying albums and focus on just listening to them more, but you know how it goes. This year a ton of shit fell into my lap and I bought all of it. So anyways, a guy named Dave wrote to me a couple weeks ago and he had found me on Discogs. Now he enjoyed my YouTube channel and found my want list on Discogs and just kind of went through and like, I have that, whatever. And he offered to sell me a couple things. And so the way that I operate my Discogs wish list is, if there's something I want, I'll usually just find the best price and I'll buy it if it's not a crazy price. But there's some things that are kind of old, kind of rare. I kind of want to know what I can expect to pay for it before I pull the trigger on it. So, or there's a lot of things like I would love to have, but I'm not going to pay like an outlandish price for. So if for some reason rare album number 10 falls below a certain price, I'm going to go, oh hell yeah, I'm biting. So that's what happens a lot. So I have stuff on my wish list that I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like chomping at the bit to get copies of. It's just like I put them in there just in case anyone ever sells them for a good price, and then I bite. So I turned down, I was like, nah, I'm okay, I'm good, thanks for the offer. He said he really appreciated that he discovered Obsequii from my channel, which is one of my favorite bands and a band that I just tell you guys to listen to a lot. But he's from Minneapolis and so is Obsequii, and I'm up there quite a bit, so I hope at some point Dave and I can have a beer, whatnot, hang out, make a new friend, because Dave went ahead and said, all right, that's good, I'm just going to send you this LP to show you my appreciation for what you do on your YouTube channel. So, man, I'm so humbled to have Funeral Tragedies on wax. So Arctic Serenades, a really obscure but awesome label from back in the 90s, originally released this in 1995 on CD only, and it's pretty pricey to pick up an original copy of that, and I don't think it has been reissued on CD since then. And this is the kind of thing I would have preferred to have on CD. That's kind of why I passed on it. It was an album that I knew I kind of needed to own, but I wasn't very familiar with it, having not listened to it very much. Should probably turn this down a little bit more. So I kind of wanted to get myself more familiar with it. I've explained it a couple times. I listen to CDs 90% of the time. Vinyl is for enshrining my love for an album in a 12-inch vinyl format. I don't get a chance to sit down here very often listening to my records. This is the only spot in the house where I have a record player. So that's why I passed. But I am very pleased to have this. I went ahead, so since Dave sent me this LP, I listened to it in its entirety and fucking floored me. I had just kind of listened to it in passing, I guess, in the years past. And the reason I was reinvigorating my interest in this album is because some of the members who played in Old Man's Child's first 1, 2, or 3 releases, mainly Born to the Flickering, which I love, also play on this. But the main guy in Funeral is Anders Eek, who you might know from Odium, the Norwegian black metal band. So this is his baby child, and this is just mournful, fucking just evocative doom. Comes on yellow vinyl. So it was not originally released on vinyl in '95. The Crypt, doing us all a solid, released this on vinyl, maybe CD, that's where I'm not sure, a couple of years ago, and this is already kind of hard to get a copy of. So, man, I'm so appreciative. Dave even went above and beyond and sent me a couple of extra goodies, which I really appreciate. I was kind of shocked. I thought it's going to be some kind of crappy giveaway kind of things or whatnot. But first we have Earthshine, and I had never heard this. It looked totally up my alley. Northern Silence put this out, and I kind of expected this. I mean, like, what do you think that's going to sound like? Probably kind of somewhere like Caladan Brood or like Eldamar or one of those kinds of things. That genre I don't really keep up with all that well, but this isn't that. I listened to a couple of songs on it. I need to give it some more time, as with a couple other things in this pile, so bear with me. It's kind of a atmospheric doom kind of thing. I did not expect it to be what it was, so we'll see. I'm going to come back to it. I wasn't captured by it at the first listen, but this ensnared. Of course, Dr. Scent put this out. Fucking, it seems like putting your album out in 2018 on Dark Descent is kind of a double-edged sword. You're just among the swarm of insanely talented death metal bands, and you could kind of get clobbered on top of by some of the better ones or whatnot. But this is really good. This is, I guess I would say, not your typical Dark Descent release, but having said that, I haven't bought all the fucking Dark Descent releases this year. I'm not your guy in that department. This is more of a more riffy, kind of black metal kind of stuff. It's kind of discordant and just evil as shit. Definitely stoked to have a copy of this, and I might not have even given this a chance had you not given me a copy of this, Dave, so I super appreciate it. I want to say I had maybe seen this on a couple of year-end lists and been kind of curious about it, or seen a couple other YouTubers talk about it or something, so it was kind of on my radar, but I had kind of forgotten about it. But this is really fucking cool. The album is called Disangelium, and that is came out this year. So that is what Dave sent me, so hails to Dave. So what we're listening to is Heol Telwen. The album is called this is, I think, Gaelic, so Gaelic is just fucking nuts. And Oes Ruse, something like that. I want to say this is their only full length, so you shouldn't have any problem tracking this down if you decide to do so. I hope you do. They're like a Gaelic, man, I think they're from France, but that doesn't do you any good. They don't sound French at all. They're just fucking mighty pagan fucking riff masters, and the singer plays this fucking little tootly flute or something. It's awesome. Some of the riffs are just so goddamn catchy, and you've got the riffs that are good and the flute riffs I'll call them that, the flute parts, are also just mind-blowingly catchy, and it just works so fucking well. So, not doing a year-end list. Like I said, there's plenty of other YouTubers doing lists aplenty, so you can check them out. Marvel Mills, my buddy Marvel, just put one up, so you can check that out. He is a great YouTuber and a great young man. And I've also just had my head buried in the 90s all year, so you don't want to hear me say what my favorites were for the year. Sorry, I got a hair on my lens, and I bet it's fucking up the shot, whatever. Anyway, so here's what I've gotten in the past like 2 weeks or so. Big Business, Here Come the Waterworks. I played their first record in one of my videos a couple of weeks ago, and I was reminded how fucking awesome this album is, and I always meant to get a copy of it. Hydra had put this out in 2086, and it's great. Super riff heavy, kind of, I don't know, stoner rock metal kind of stuff. A lot of people compare them to the Melvins because they became the Melvins for half of the Melvins for a while. But whatever, it's just a good fucking record, man. So I recently discovered that Jason Walton of Agalock has a podcast. It's called I Hate Music, I think. And my friend Jory did an episode with him on there. And I'm not all that big a fan of his podcasts, but I do kind of like this setup. I've listened to like 1 or 2 episodes of it so far, and it's pretty good. So what he does on there is he has a guest on there, sometimes other music nerds kind of like us. And what they do is they have like a laptop, and they'll get on YouTube, and they'll type in some song, and they'll play this song, and the other person has no idea what it is. And you don't have any idea what it is at first. So it strips away all the context. It makes it so that you don't know anything about the band, so that you have no preconceived notion of what you're hearing. And it recontextualizes music so fascinatingly, and I didn't expect to be so taken by this format. So even though you might hear the song and go, oh god, I fucking have that, I haven't listened to that in forever, I need to listen to that, that's like undoubtedly what's going to happen to you. Or you'll hear something and it'll blow your fucking mind, but you will say to yourself, I totally thought that was going to suck, or I glossed that over and didn't care about it, or whatnot. So he plays this song, and I'm just fucking digging it. Oh, it was so good. And turns out it was Spectral Voice. Spectral Voice, Erotic Corridors of a Being. Now, I know all you fucking guys were just going apeshit about this band all year long last year. And I was like, yeah, it's alright. Disembowelment was great, whatever. You don't need to know anything about Disembowelment to enjoy the fucking unholy, abysmal fervor that is this record. So, yeah, I just fucking went right in there and double dipped on both of these. I still haven't listened to Necrotic Doom yet. Now, I'm a big fan of Blood Incantation. I really, really like those guys. I just thought, the hype is a little bigger than I care to bother trudging through to appreciate this. But I fucked up. Solemnly swear I fucked up. Spectral Voice is fucking good. I could have swore that when Jory played that song, I'm not sure which track it was. It might have been just the very first song on the album or whatnot, but I could have swore it was something from Finland from 1992, and I was just ready to go, oh, I gotta fucking buy this, what is this, ah! I didn't expect it to be Spectral Voice by any means. So, this is like a commercial for Dark Descent. We also got Hyperdontia with the most unintelligible Paolo Giardi artwork you will ever see. This is Nexus of Teeth. It was upon a bloody moonlit night that Justin Stubbs convinced me to buy this record. I've listened to about half of it once, and it's really fun. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of like all different kinds of stuff. Apparently, it's a lot of the guys in the Danish scene from Undergang and other Frenolith and stuff like that. Doing something a little bit, I think, more up my alley. A little bit more like Dead Congregation and Angel Corpse. And like those two bands, if you combine those two bands into a death metal project, I am sold on it, man. Dead Congregation is the fucking wolf's tits. And Angel Corpse, I was listening to them today. Angel Corpse just gets me so fucking fired up, and I just want to fucking punch concrete bricks while I'm listening to them. It's amazing, amazing shit. Let's see. I've started keeping my fucking digipacks in bags because I'm sick of them getting so wore out. The new one from Cantique Le Préau, Paysage Polaire. Quebecois black metal band. Their debut from 2016 was fucking amazing, atmospheric black metal with insanely good riffing. It was just a super, super great release. And this is totally on par with that. I'm really stoked to be diving into that a couple more times here. So next we've got an oldie but a goodie. Ceremonial Oath, The Book of Truth. Century Media reissued this 2 CD set in 2013. And this is a old Swedish album. Really overlooked. I don't think these guys really went on to do any other bands or other notable albums. Actually, didn't they do another album called Flannel or something? Maybe I'm thinking of some other band. But anyways, you know the drill. Lots of extras in the booklet, lots of explanations on what the album is about. It's like a really heady kind of concept album that I just kind of skimmed through here, and I was like, huh, okay, that's going to take me a while to consume. Alf Svensson of Oxyplagats did the artwork for this. He also painted the cover of Heaven Shall Burn by Marduk and a couple others. Alf Svensson is a fucking genius. You should worship the ground he walks on. But yeah, this is super technical, really intense, fast, kind of melodic, but brutal death metal. The Book of Truth. Let's see here. Morpheus, Son of Hypnos. Dark Symphonies, The Crypt put this out. Actually, I'm not sure. What is the difference between The Crypt and Dark Symphonies? I don't know. They reissue death metal stuff. I just saw this pop up on some thing the other day that was like best albums released in 1993 or death metal albums released in 1993. So I picked this up along with the Hyperdontia from some distro. I don't know. I'll plug it again for you guys just so you know. I use the metal detector with a K to find distros carrying the album that I want, the format that I want, and the price that I want. It searches about 200 different distros, so saves me a penny here and there. And I also like the idea of not always buying from the exact same distro, kind of spreading my support around out there so that distros are continuing to flourish and therefore carrying different things, so we aren't just all fucking buying Hell's Headbangers garbage left and right. So we were also talking about December Wolves in the Old Man YouTube chat the other day. And I had forgotten that I needed to pick up a copy of this debut, Till 10 Years. I've known about this album and I've listened to it a couple times for 20 fucking years or so. And I'm really happy that I waited till now to get this because it's really hitting the mark and it really makes sense. And I always used to think, like, how did they go from Till 10 Years to completely dehumanized? But riff-wise, there is some kind of correlation between the two albums there. It makes sense, but Completely Dehumanized is one of the most fucking violent, fist-punching records I've ever heard. And I know a lot of people will say that about albums that are like hardcore or like thrashy, kind of grindy death metal kind of records or whatnot. But Completely Dehumanized by December Wolves is a beast all of its own. If you've not heard it, I don't know how it gets so criminally forgotten. It seems like at the time it was released back in like 2000, it had a lot of steam behind it. And they got signed to Earache, was it, I think? And they put out Blasterpiece Theater, which was a piece of shit. And then they just shit the bed. But Completely Dehumanized is an amazing record. And this is just a lot more 90s black metal style. There's folk instrumentation and flutes and female vocals. It's a lot more Bathory influenced. It's really, really good. There's some Emperor kind of leanings here and there. These guys were from Massachusetts, I think. And I think they even, maybe this guy wound up being in Trap Them, which I never cared for. But Trap Them had this demo kind of deal that no one seems to know about. I can't really find much information about it online. But it was called Trap Them and Kill Them. And it was fucking awesome. It was way better than Trap Them. Next, we've got two more absolute classics. Judas Iscariot of Great Eternity. Now, this has nothing to do with Blake fucking Judd. I wouldn't support that absolute piece of human feces. Some label, Archivist Records, in 2016, got the rights to release this from Elegy Records. And the weird thing about that is, Moribund and Redstream released almost all of Judas Iscariot's discography, but Elegy issued Of Great Eternity originally, and it's really hard to come by, as with most Judas Iscariot stuff is. There's a tape version of it that's kind of easier to get, but for some reason there were a couple copies of this left here and there, and Matt Spencer was waving it around on Facebook the other day, and I decided to get a copy of it. The thing about Judas Iscariot, I love Judas Iscariot, but some of the early albums are so painfully drummed upon. I can't stand his amateurish fucking drumming on the first two albums. He got a lot better, I think, on Of Great Eternity. Maybe not a lot better, but better enough that I can stomach it. And I'm really happy to finally get really familiar with this album. I've kind of had a strange story with Judas Iscariot, but I won't get into it. But I really, really love the super furious fast albums that have Dwayne Timlin on drums. Those are fucking awesome. I wish Dwayne would have been there all along. So lastly, we've got an album I should have bought many, 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 many years ago, Master's Hammer with Ritual. This is their debut from 94. I want to say this was maybe recorded and written a couple years prior, 91, 92 or so. I just love this band photo. These guys have always been so absolutely unique, and just Master's Hammer always sounds like Master's Hammer. I was a 19-year-old kid, and I went up to some distro table, and I was like, "Do you have any Master's Hammer, sir?" And he had Philemnus Occultist. I had just read about it in magazines or whatnot and thought, that's some kind of thing I need to have. I bought it back then and loved it, but I've just never really gotten around to getting the rest of their stuff. And I've been having other YouTubers just bang this album over my head in the last few months or so, and I finally decided to pull the trigger. I've listened to about half of it so far, and it's fucking great. So I'm stoked to have some really, really good stuff in this pile, and it's time for me to go eat Thai food, and I'm running late. Sorry. So, hope you're all doing good, and we'll see you next time.